Hey guys, Mr. Zern here with our vocabulary lesson for the day. Today we're going to be talking about a procedure, and we used one in App Inventor with the Happy Balance game. And unfortunately, that activity isn't great because you don't actually utilize the procedure more than once, and that's the beauty of it. But so, what a procedure is if you remember correctly, you grab the little procedure block. It's sort of purple, and you give it a name. In this case, it was the handle edges. And so basically anytime, it hits the edges, we want all of these things to happen. So for example, we are like, hey, make the happy image visible, false. So we made it invisible. Set the sad image visible, true. So make that visible. Basically deactivate the accelerometer. There was a replay label and we said, hey, that was, invisible, and we set that to visible. We also said, hey, take the sad image and put it in the middle of the canvas. So we've got canvas width, canvas height, and we divided both by 2 there. And so that sticks a bloop right there in the middle. And then, I added a lose sound like wah, 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 to mine. And so basically you put all of these, all these blocks in there, all of these commands. And then all we have to do, and again, if you look up here, when you have the edge reach, you can just say, hey, call edge handles. And you use a couple places you could put it. You could put it all the way at the bottom and use it once. But here, I set it in a way that you can see it. So it's calling it here, 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 and here. So it's calling it in multiple places. And so that way you wouldn't have to like copy and paste, or when we get into Python, like rewrite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 lines of code. I could do code would be more than that, but for this, but like write 6 lines of code and then write another 6 lines, it's kind of, when you're using that over and over again, a procedure comes in handy. And so we'll get into some apps later where, when something happens, I want to call this procedure. And so you write all the code out one time, and then we just take that one little chunk and we can just stick it in there and use it over and over again. So basically a sequence of actions or instructions to follow in solving a problem or accomplishing a task that may be used at one or more points in the computer program. It just creates writing many fewer lines of code by using a procedure. So instead of writing that 6 lines of code, 4 times, so there's 24 lines of code. I wrote it the 6 times, and then I just called it like 4 more additional times. So now I really, basically turned 24 lines of code into 10 lines of code. And so that's sort of the beauty of a procedure. And so we'll get into some apps later where we're writing multiple procedures and kind of calling them depending on what's going on. And so that's a pretty powerful thing. Sometimes they're also called a function. We'll get into that later in Python a bit. You might hear it also go by the name of a function, but App Inventor and a lot of what we're doing is call it a procedure. Okay, guys, so there's our vocab term for the day, and I will talk to you later.